And our next speaker is Michal Azarewich from the company Mass Creation. And today he came to us to tell us about their game that's called Shing.
Thank you. Okay, so probably my speech is not going to be as awesome as the previous one, as we can see. Oh, okay, yeah. So quick roundup about the company. So we were founded in 2009. At the moment, the core team is 15, which we started with 4 2 years ago. So we expanded very, very quickly. The people who work in our company works in different companies in Poland, CDPR, 11-bit studios, things like that. The company started as many others, so they started to do Java games for mobiles. Later on, a little bit better mobile games. And at the moment, we are doing games for PC and consoles. So like the proper games, let's call them. Our favorite platform is PlayStation. We are fanboys, but starting to shift to Xbox because reasons. And we are doing arcade and fighting games mostly. So I'm working in the industry for 5 years. I was working with with few companies from Poland and with Platyshimage, which is doing 3D animations and VFX for films. So you can see what companies I work with. Yeah, it started with The Witcher because I was headhunted for a long time ago for the project when Witcher was supposed to be a Hollywood movie. Not many people knows that. But yeah, it's supposed to be a Hollywood movie and later on a series, but it didn't work out. And the guy struck a deal with Netflix after I left. I'm mostly playing on consoles, and I'm spending too much time in Destiny. So this is the game I'm gonna talk about. So we developed Shing, 4 players, offline and online co-op with multiplayer. Yeah, we were able to publish the game on almost, oh yeah, I made a typo. We were able to publish the game on PlayStation, Switch, Xbox, and PC, PlayStation and Xbox, like the old generation, the new generation. So we gathered experience regarding publishing on the cross-platform time. And we published the game during COVID with publisher, because we have a publisher in Japan. So we were publishing for Japan and Asia with the partner. The rest of the world, we do the self-published. So we have some experience with like working alone, gathering contacts and things like that. And also with the help of the publisher, which basically doesn't look different regarding the region. It doesn't matter if you're working with guys in the States or in Japan or whatever. So we also were able to create boxes because retail is a little bit different than digital, because digital is easy. Everyone can do it themselves. For retail, you need a partner. I mean, you can do it by yourself, it's not a problem, but you need to have a shit ton of money. Basically, that's the thing. And you need to have contacts in simply in retail stores or like, I don't know, Tesco or whatever, and sell the games. So here, publisher is very, very helpful. And I'm gonna tell you later how to strike a deal with the companies, because there's lots of companies who are helping with the retail at the moment, even for indies, smaller games, things like that. So the publishing timeline is very strange because COVID, so that's the first thing. The second thing was that the whole game was not a trial version, but it was a training for us, working with different first parties, working with publisher, as a whole and trying to publish the game on every major platform. Before Shing, we didn't have experience with Switch, and that was our first game that we published on Switch, and we didn't have any experience with Xbox. No one never did anything on Xbox, so we need to learn everything like basically from scratch. So that's why the publishing timeline looks how it looks. We started in August, and there was a dilemma. Should we wait and publish the game on much more platforms, or should we release it? Because in August, like the PC version and the PlayStation version were ready, and we struggled because we said we can wait like another 6 months and release everything in the same time, and money was not the issue. So let's scratch the money out of the equation, and we decided, yeah, fuck it, we're gonna publish now. We don't care. So that's why we released the game in August, and the game was also released without the multiplayer. There was only couch co-op, which was strange when people were locked at homes and couldn't go to, I can go to my friend home and play with him because I'm staying at home. But basically it turns out quite good. So the multiplayer came out 2 weeks ago. So we are supporting the game still. It was like a year and a half, and we are still supporting the game, which we found very encouraging from the players because they are very surprised. Oh, it's supposed to be a project that publish and forget. Basically, no one is supporting the project. Their devs very often are not fixing the bugs or do the updates and things like that. And we are constantly changing something, adding something, things like that. So they are very, very grateful for that. So in January, we released Xbox and Switch and PlayStation 4 in Japan, because when we released the game in August, first, then we started to work on Japanese versions, because the versions in Japan need to be first localized. We changed the logo, we changed the key art for the game, we changed the name of the game, because the publisher told us that Shing doesn't mean anything in Japan. So we need to figure out something different. They came up with the idea to call the game Samurai Force Shing, because Samurai Force was something like old arcade games, very popular series in Japan. So they said we can use it, and then we could gather more players because of nostalgia. So January was very busy. Later on, we published in March I don't want to call it next gen because it's probably already current gen console. So the new Xbox and the PlayStation 5. And August and September was the time for boxes, which were produced for PlayStation 4 and for Nintendo Switch. Yeah. And the reception of the game was not very good. I mean, it was like 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 from the press. They didn't like the humor. I don't know why. Probably we over-sexualized women in the game, but that was, unfortunately, it was like, I don't want to say it was our goal, but we created very generic characters and that's it. On the other side, the players liked the game a lot. Like the medium score from the players were around 75, 80. So this is one of those games where press do not meet the player score. And yeah, so the self-publishing pros and cons are gonna be very easy, and you can sum it up in basically one sentence. You have control over everything, and that's the most important thing which I can give you, because after releasing the game, you have control over what you can do with the IP, with the game as a product. Sales, bundles, including the game in, let's say, Humble Bundle, Game Pass, whatever you want to do with that, it's up to you. So you can publish and leave it. If the sales for the first 2 weeks are like 2 million copies, then it's fine. You can leave the game. If it's not, you need to work with the game. Like, you need to work with your product. And this is like strict business, strict marketing. You need to think what you can do, and you need to basically do it for at least 2 years, because the game lifespan is 2 years, especially when you're not publishing everything at the same time. So, and then the whole money is yours. So you don't have to share the money with publisher. You don't have to share the money with middleman, whatever you struck the deal with. You can also change the strategy, whatever you have, according to, let's say, player response. So we, at the beginning, thought that the game would be the most popular in Europe. And after 2 months, we already saw that the best market where our game is selling is US, on PlayStation and later on the Xbox. So we basically skipped the PC market. We skipped the Nintendo Switch market because the game didn't sell there. Everyone told us it's awesome game for Nintendo Switch. And we say, okay, so we're gonna do it. Can I not use the microphone? I think everyone is gonna hear me. Oh. Okay, so I need to use the microphone. Okay. So so you can basically do whatever you want with the game. If, for instance, the game is not selling on PC, then leave it. You're not gonna do, basically at the moment players are very fast respond to whatever game you're making. And if you're publishing the game on many different platforms, you can quickly assess. It's gonna sell, it's selling on Xbox, fine. It's selling on Switch, fine. It's not selling on PC, fuck it. You're basically, come on, guys, we did an arcade beat 'em up. PC players are not playing that kind of game. That's a fact. Every game, let's say, is platform specific. I would say like that. If you're doing real-time strategy, it's gonna be PC players. You can publish on console, but it's not gonna sell. Okay, the Frostpunk might be an exception, but it's an exception that say how the rule is. So then you can fast see what platforms are best performing, and then make it your priority on sales, bundles, things like that. So 100% of incomes is coming for you. You have the whole power what to do with the product. So these are the pros. The cons, if you're small indie dev, no one is gonna care about you. Sorry, that's the deal and that's the truth. Basically, first parties don't give a fuck. The big publishers don't give a fuck. No one is giving a fuck. So you are on your own, and you need to be super confident on your game, on what you can do, on your abilities. Sorry, if you don't talk to them 120% sure about what you have, no, they don't give a fuck. They have like 40 or 50 talks per day or pitches of the games on their email, on the conference like this. You need to be strong, you need to be super confident. We talk with, I think, 20 different publishers, because the most important thing for us was to strike a deal to get to Game Pass. I will get to that in a moment. So basically, we've got 2 offers from the 2 least interested publishers for us. So the rest, they don't give a fuck. Basically, that's the deal. That's why we also self-publish. So that's the one thing. Contacts with Xbox. Okay, Steam is quite okay and quite responsive when you're talking to them, so that's fine. But the consoles, Xbox is, I think, the best of the whole three. Nintendo is garbage, basically. I would burn this company down, but that's me. From the developer side, sorry, that's the thing. Sony is shitty because there is like a giant chaos like inside. They are short staff. They don't respond quickly for whatever emails you're sending them. So here you need to have a very big amount of patience because sometimes you are waiting for a response for 3 weeks. You can do shit, basically. You can click escalate, like in corporation, and that's it. You don't have, in the good old days, every 10 companies which were registered with Sony got their own account manager. Now, no one have an account manager. Okay, so the AAA's got the account manager, but they know presidents, chief marketing officers, whatever. So it's like above 80% of companies' level of communication. So assume that no one's gonna give a fuck, and you need to wait. So this might be a little bit of a problem when you struggle with something that you want to, do with the platform, and this might also be problematic with visibility. For instance, during the launch, because they're not gonna tell you anything how to advertise your game. Sorry, I need a break. Okay, what I can tell you, the easiest way to advertise the game with the first party are the trailers for launch. Every first party got their own special forms link, whatever you call it. It's changed every 2 months, where you can submit your trailer for instance, for launch. That is gonna be shown on the official YouTube channel. So you have a trailer, like a launch trailer. You can send it to Sony and say, "Oh, you have this 7.5 million subscribers YouTube channel. Could you show our trailers in a week?" They said, "Yeah, sure." So that kind of thing they can do, but that's it, basically. I think if you will ask, Xbox can give you a little bit more on launch because they will probably tweet an information about your game on their official account. You will be in one blog post, I think, like with the this week releases, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. And Major Nelson, it's a official Xbox influencer, let's call him like that. He's also gonna tweet something about your game, and that's it. But Nintendo's not gonna do anything, basically anything. We've got a game, like a small game that we want to publish on Switch. It wasn't this one, and the trailer was Happy Bears kind of thing, clouds, grass, and they said no, it's not family friendly. And we were like, what the fuck? So we're not gonna even, we didn't even send the trailer for Shing to them because there's like blood, cutting heads, whatever, that kind of stuff, because we knew that they're not gonna accept it in any way, probably. So yeah, so that's, I mean, pros and cons of self-publishing, there's like 20 different other things also, but these are the most important. So the best plus is money, everything is going for you. You have the whole power, but you basically no one to the big guys. And then you have to struggle, you have to be stubborn, you have to be a pain in the ass to them, escalate every 2-3 days, send an email constantly, things like that. Maybe they will notice if you are luck. So that's the thing. So with the publisher, it's all the way around. So you need to give them money, at least part of the income that you will have. Depends on the deal, from 15 to 30%. It depends on how much work the publisher is gonna do. How much marketing? Are they doing retail? Are they having good contacts, for instance, with Sony, Microsoft, blah, 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 things like that. So we are doing now a game about hamsters, don't ask. And we already got some emails from potential publishers. Main thing in every email, we can put your game in Game Pass. Because the Game Pass at the moment is like a El Dorado for every developer, because there are money in it. Like 2 years ago, the main El Dorado for gamers, developers were Switch. Now Switch is a giant pile of trash, everything is there. It looks like Steam, basically. So the Game Pass is the new big thing. Because they're gonna pay you. They're gonna pay you a lot. At least for the next project. Yeah, that's the thing. So the publisher will help you with the visibility, will help you with the first parties, will help you with boxes if they can, or if they're not, they probably know someone who can help you with boxes. But you need to give them your money. That's the first thing. The second thing is, it depends how long is the deal. But the publisher's got a problem. They got many games. It's not only your game that they are working with. So they very often forget about your game after 6 months. And you need to be a person or a company who will constantly remind them, oh, there is a sale. You need to put our game in this sale. And they will, oh yeah, we forgot. Because we have 50 other games that we need to work with. And always the new game with the launch is the main priority. So the older games are always gonna be pushed back, and forgot. Because it's also dependent on the publisher how big the team is. If they have 20 different project managers or account, then they will take care of it. But mostly they have like 5 and 40 games. I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen, basically. So you need to be the person to pay attention when the sales are, and keep reminding the publisher to put your game on the sale. Oh yeah, and this is, for instance, this is our normal logo. This is their Japanese logo. So the Japanese, our Japanese publisher changed the logo name, the key art, which were manga-ish more than the normal one, because we did like the more Marvel comic style key art. So that went fine. I can't blame. Yeah, the lessons learned. This is gonna be a very painful one. So, the original plan was to publish all platforms in 2 steps. Basically, at the beginning, we divided the publishing plan, let's call it, into 2 steps. So the first step was supposed to be PC, PlayStation, Xbox. The second was supposed to be Japan, like all the platforms, and Switch. It didn't happen, as you saw earlier. It's not. But there were many different things. We overestimated how much time we need, for instance, to create the certain platform version. The Switch was the biggest problem because it's a fucking calculator. And if your game is a little bit more graphic enhanced, let's call it, you're using lots of particles, you're using lots of effects, whatever, you will probably have to cut at least half. That's what happened with our game. I'm sorry, iPhone got more power than Switch. We tested. Basically, we test our PC build of the game on iPhone Max, I think 11, and it worked better than on Switch. So yeah. So basically, the most important thing is to like scale the production time platform-wise. So if the platform is more demanding, you need to give it more time. We didn't. That's why it stretched out as much in time as it did. And yeah, it's a pain, but now we know. Now we basically know, we learned the lesson. So yeah. The second thing is that we didn't manage to make correct assumptions regarding multiplayer. Situation looked like I went to my programmer, said, "Are you able to do it in a month?" Of course. I was young, stupid. Mistakes were made. I said, "Okay, fine." 2 weeks later, did you even start it? No. Why? Because it's the first time I'm gonna do it. What the fuck, dude? It's like, you said you're gonna do it in a month. Yeah, I thought I'm gonna do it in a month. I thought is the key factor here. So yeah, so that's the main problem. Know your people that you're working with and know their skills and possibility. So now, our programmer can do a multiplayer in a month, but he spent a year to learn how to do it. Let's say like that. So that was a big failure. Like I said, we published the multiplayer feature, I think 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or something like that. It's supposed to be a year ago. The original plan was that the multiplayer is going to be published in August 2020. So yeah, we didn't. That was the problem. The next thing was that we failed in community building. We tried, but we failed. The original idea was that when we started our Discord, it was in a moment when we needed testing. So we said, oh yeah, so we're gonna do a press release and we're gonna say, join our Discord, you will get a game for testing for free, and later on launch it's gonna change for a full title. So you'll have basically a free game. That gives us like, I think 400 people from all around the world on our Discord. Everyone tested. We have a big amount of data that we need to work with. But after that, the Discord is dead, basically, at the moment, because we didn't work with those people. We didn't ask them. We didn't talk to them. Basically, because we didn't have time. There was not enough people on the team to work on that. And now we need to start basically all over again with the new games to encourage the people who are on the server to talk to us, to even to post memes, whatever. So that's the big problem. And I think if we would work with the community better, we could have many additional positive reviews, mouth-to-mouth marketing, and things like that. I need to be faster. This is very important. If you have any money on marketing, probably there will be many different websites like Eurogamer, whatever, that will finally come to you and say, oh, we have those ads that you can buy. Don't do it, scratch it, just spend the money on whatever YouTuber you want, because the ads on websites, they don't work. Basically, that's a fact. And the last thing would be, yeah, Humble Bundle and Game Pass, but we didn't have the publisher. We tried to do this on our own. We didn't do that because we didn't have enough, like, convincing power, let's say, for the first parties. Oh yeah, and now the good ones. So we expanded the team from 7 to 15 people in a year. Now it's 20, because it's 15 people is the core team. We have 5 persons as an outsource, like a composer, additional graphic people, and things like that. Well, so the 2 very painful years when we were developing Shing, but now give us the pipeline and the good assessment of time we need to produce the game. And to be honest, it's very accurate. I mean, we basically keep the timeline when we created on the beginning. Now everyone is working on a daily basis, and the time they said they need is the correct time. So they don't say, I'm going to do it in a month, but they don't know how to do it. So we have the experience how to work with a medium scope game, how to work with the publisher, because we did it in Japan. And we have experience in working in every first-party platform at the moment on the market. So we have a little bit of contacts and we can do another game, and don't be afraid that, oh, it's going to be the first time that we're going to publish a game or on Xbox or whatever. Now we know the whole... Nope. Now we know the whole process, even for the old generation, for the new generation. For instance, how the smart delivery on Xbox works. It's gold. Everyone should try it. It's awesome. We got some additional knowledge about the core market techniques, so how the sales works. I can give you a tip. I think 2 months ago, I saw a tweet from one of the indie developers who said that Sony, I published my game on PlayStation, and Sony is not inviting me for sales, because they're doing sales like every month. So if you're a developer, you should receive an email, hey, there's going to be like a Halloween sale, whatever, do you want to put your game in there? And he said that he's not receiving those kinds of emails, so Sony is bad because like the small developers are shit, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we were in the same position, but we were sending emails about adding us to the list for 3 months, once a week. And now we're in every sale, because they finally add the email to probably some kind of spreadsheet that they're sending emails later with sales. Now we need to skip sales because we are thinking, oh, that's enough, 3 sales in a row. So we were in a sale for like 5 weeks, constantly. We were just changing sales. And we said, okay, we need to stop because they're probably gonna kick us out. It's gonna be too much for a too long time. So persistent. You need to be persistent. If you are sending emails once a week, you need to be patient and persistent. They're finally gonna put you on this magic spreadsheet with sales, but then it's profit. You can skip 3 months of not being in sale, and then in 3 months, like, earn the money back, even on sales. And the last one is also very important, because when you finish the project, we keep almost all the people in the studio. Of course, there was aspiration, I'm gonna go to CD Projekt Red, whatever. They stayed. Basically, we lost, I think, 2 people only. And we keep the rest of the team. So this is very, very good for us. Yeah, that's it. Questions?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I feel your pain very well, because we also work with Sony and Microsoft. Had you any technical and maybe other interesting issues with a Nintendo Switch, except of lack of communication and other things?
It's much more complicated than it is. I mean, from one side, Shing was developed on Unity. So, for instance, there were some problems with Unity itself. So here, Nintendo is quite okay, because when you write to them and say, hey, this problem is in the engine, it's still not patched, blah, 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 they are saying, yes, we are aware, so you can skip it, or you can do... For instance, Nintendo got this super shitty politic that your patch for the game can only be 500 megabytes. And we were like, what the fuck? How can you do a 500 megabyte patch? And in the same time when we published the game, there was a bug in Nintendo that our builds and patches were around 2.5 gigabytes. So every time we need a waiver for that. But because it was a known issue, you're just sending information to Nintendo and said, hey, it's on the forum, blah, 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 whatever.
Waiting 3 weeks?
No. Like when it's a patch thing, or for instance, launch thing, they are quite fast. But you need to send them, it's additional work is only with it that you need to go through, for instance, Unity forum or all those patch notes, whatever, and send them, yeah, this is it. Here's the problem. It's not our fault. And Nintendo will mostly say, okay, that's fine. We can waiver whatever. It's strange, but we can waiver. I mean, they should change the politics about patches, but that's a different thing.
Will you made next game on Nintendo Switch?
if they're gonna make a pro version, probably yes, but on the other side, no. I think we're gonna skip it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody?
That's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.